Hey guys, in this video I will show you how to play Tejo on Ascent, and we will start right here on A side when you are attacking. So first of all, with your drone. Usually you wanna use it as the Sova drone, I would say, so that way you would clear the close corners and get anyone who would be trying to peek here, and you can go even deeper in the side. And just before the drone goes off, you just wanna make sure that you jump and press your left click, so that way you reveal anyone who might be in that spot, so that way you would give further information for your team and you would reveal even the spots that you would not be looking at. When you are attacking on A, there are two ways how you can use your missiles. One of them would be to simply clear these spots where most of the time enemies might be playing.
All missiles away.
So very simply send it out there and let your team know that you will be doing that, so that way they would be ready for enemies to scout. Or the other way would be to simply cover the whole heaven area like this, so not only anyone cannot peek you, but also anyone who'd be below heaven would be getting hit as well. So have that in mind when you are using it. A simple way how you can incorporate your stun as well would be just simply make this little gap there and aim between those two spots right here on the wall, and you bounce it. That way it's gonna land right here all the way in the back, stunning anyone who might be holding the A main. There's plenty of spots how you can be using it. Most importantly, you wanna be using your guided salvo every time before you enter into the site. One of them would be to simply cover this whole area, so that way anyone who would be in these corners or on top would be unable to be there. There's also other spots. Usually you wanna combine and play your util based off your drone where you find the enemies, so that way you get them out of the spot and it might be easier for your teammates to get pick. Great thing about the drone when attacking would be when you use it right here on top mid, you can scan out the whole mid, go on short and pop it here, so that way you would get enough info and your teammates might follow it and push with it. Once again, if you wanna be going through tree, I would recommend you using your guided salvo in this spot, so that way anyone cannot be peeking there from on you, and they would have to fall back. On B side, once again, since this is blocked, you can get a bit closer to use your drone from this spot, so that way you can scout out the area, you can jump a bit, so that way you scan further into the market. But then when you get on the stairs, once again go for the scan, and always when you enter in, you wanna check the left side and all of these corners where the enemies can be playing. And once again, as you would be doing on A side, the most common spot where enemies might be peeking you would be either market and most importantly the stairs, so definitely I would use one always on the stairs, and then it depends on where the enemies are playing. So you can be doing one market,
all missiles away,
so that way no one is really holding you and you have time to get in and no one jumps out of the smoke immediately. However, if it's already smoke, the enemies might go for a swing on you, so have that in mind and be ready for them to peek it. The great thing with Tejo is that you usually won't be the first one to run into the site, since you will be using your drone. You can also be playing for the post plant, where you can deny the defuse simply with your missiles, so that way if anyone defuse, you just send there your missiles and you can gain some valuable time for your team, or at least get the enemies off the spike. And you can do this pretty much anywhere. When defending, it can be quite easy for you, since usually there's a lot of choke points where enemies would be playing. The best way would be you can either use the drone at the start of the round to get some info where the enemies might be playing, or you can be just waiting for steps. And best way to play this character would be in combination, for example with Deadlock. So if your Deadlock can throw his nade right here, then you very simply just send there your missiles and try to get anyone who would be there. And this can be done pretty much in the A main right at the start of the round. If the enemies are playing aggressive, you can punish them by doing this, or even in B main, where once again it's gonna cover these spots very nicely, and anyone who would be in this area caught by the nade would be a free kill, since they have no way of getting out of it. Also, if you know that the enemies are A main, the great thing to do would be to simply use your ultimate like this. You wanna give them a hope that they can go into the vines. Once you do it, you just send there simply one missile and the other one right here for anyone who would be trying to escape, and the enemies would have no chance. Another thing with defending would be, if if you know that the enemies are coming out, they have, for example, Reyna, you can have your mollies ready, like this. So that way when the Reyna flashes, this usually will be smoked off, the A main entrance, and you simply send out your missiles like this.
All missiles away.
So that way anyone who'd run in would run into your missiles immediately. You can delay them, and in the meantime the flash is gonna disappear, and it would be so much easier for your teammates to go in. And you might get some kills like this as well, since the enemies would not expect the missiles to be there once they run out. And obviously the same thing can be applied right here on B, where it can work even better, since the enemies won't have much space to go in. So doing one like these,
All missiles away.
the enemies would usually try to run into the line, where it can be some free kills. But make sure you do those nicely so that those missiles
All missiles away.
cover each other up and there is no space for enemies to run into and stay safe. And of course you can be using the ultimate in B main as well. For example, like this. With this one, you just want to be sending the missiles in the back so that the enemies cannot run out. Your ultimate can be also very useful while retaking. So for example, right here on B, you can for example cover this whole left area where enemies usually would be playing, and then you just do the mollies. For example, it spots like this, so that way it is harder for them to get away out of it. Usually with this character you just want to try what works. Depends on the game usually, but if you have a deadlock, it is a great combo with Tejo, and you can get plenty of kills by simply doing this if you know that the enemies are playing aggressive. And even if they aren't, you can just try to combo the nade on the deadlock and your missiles with it. Overall, I would not really recommend you to be playing right here on mid, since it would be quite difficult. But if you want to be playing, for example, if you lost the round and you are on eco, you can do something aggressive, for example push mid, so you can do your missiles in mid link to gain some space, and whoever might be playing aggressive or on top mid, so that way you can gain some space and try to push the enemies. Also, one thing to mention is that the character would work very nicely right here if you're playing in 3. As you can see, it can work very nicely, so you can be doing a lot of stuff like this to get some free kills by doing this if you know that the enemies might be once again pushing you. Also, once again in post plant you can be using your ultimate to deny the defuse, but you can be also, if you are playing on site, you can for example try to force the enemies to run into you, so by simply doing ult like this, or on the tree where they won't have much space to work with. So simply doing this, the enemies would have to react quickly and try to get out of it. And if you have your teammates trying to hold this, or hold the tree, it can be very easy for you to do and catch them off guard by doing this, by playing aggressive on the retake for them. So yeah, I think Tejo is one of the best characters right here on Ascent, I would say, since it covers most of the spots with his mollies. Since the areas right here are pretty narrow, you can gain a lot of space and you can gain some free kills in combination with Vice, Sage, or especially Deadlock. So if you have a duo, definitely give this a shot, and see you guys soon. Bye!